Walla Stamping. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is the project that we're going to be making. It's a really nice size box. It's 6 by 6 inches and 3 inches deep. So this is a really great size box to put something of decent size in. And then I made a little sentiment that just says thanks for being you on the top, and I've used a few different ribbons and a couple different die sets and the daisy punch to make this little bouquet that I've got on top, and I'm really excited to show it to you, especially because of this bronze ribbon and what you can do with it. So let me set this aside and we will go ahead and get started. Now I'm going to make this one in a different color because this is definitely a fall themed box, because I used the painted autumn as well as some pumpkin pie on there, but I wanted to give you an alternative color combination in case you wanted something that was not fall themed. So you're going to start out with a piece of cardstock. I have chosen Soft Sky for this one, and this will be the bottom of the box, and it's 11 15/16 by 11 15/16. Then for the lid of the box, I decided to go with Bundle of Love Specialty Designer Series paper. This is cut to 10 by 10. Then for all of the flowers, I've got some powder pink, some very vanilla, and some soft sky. These are all 3 by 11. I have a couple pieces of very vanilla. One will be used for the sentiment and the other will be used to mount our little floral bouquet on top of. I've also got a piece of copper foil sheet and a piece of old olive, and this is 4 by 5 inches. So the first thing we want to do is get our scoring done, and I'm going to start with the bottom of the box first. And on this, you're just going to score at 3 inches on all 4 sides. And you don't have to worry about trying to keep up with all of the measurements and the sizes and what papers and what supplies you're going to need. I will have a free printable PDF instruction sheet over on my blog, and it will have all of the instructions, the list of supplies, the measurements, everything that you'll need to make this project. And if there's any supplies that you need, I would love for you to shop with me on my online store, which I will provide a link for that below this video as well as over on my blog post. Okay, so we're going to do the top next, and we're going to score this at 1 inch, and then again at 2 inches, and we're going to do this on all 4 sides. So that's 1 and 2 inches. The reason why I'm double scoring is because I want this lid on this box to be a little more on the sturdy side, so I'm making it double walled around the sides of the lid. So let's go ahead and get all of our score lines folded and burnished. Now, something that I wanted to mention to you in case you are not aware is that I have a Walla Stamping business page on Facebook, and every Monday at 7 o'clock Central Time, I do a Walla Stamping live class, and I usually post a picture beforehand what the project is going to be, and I will try to remember to tell you what all the supplies are that are needed for that project. So if you want to join in and either watch me make it or make the project along with me, I would love to invite you to be there. So let me grab my scissors and we'll go ahead and get everything trimmed. So for the bottom of the box, it's pretty straightforward. Just cut straight up each of these score lines, and then you will trim a little wedge out of it. So you'll do that all the way around the box. So that side, then this side, and then turn your box to the opposite end and repeat this. We can go ahead and assemble the bottom of our box. I'm just going to use my fast fuse and put a strip right there beside where that score line is. And then I'm also going to put a piece up here. This is going to end up being the edge that's at the top. And I want to make sure that these tabs, because they are kind of large, stay stuck very well inside the box, and that they are not going to have a gap or anything like that. Then you'll just simply fold all those tabs in, and you'll match up the corner of the box with the cut edge of the box. You can cut these little tabs down if you want to and make them shorter, but I like the fact that it's giving me a little extra cardstock along the outside of those walls. Makes me feel like the box is going to be stronger. Now on this one, we have 2 score lines on all 4 sides. What you're going to do is on the second score line from the right, trim up and then stop at the second score line from the bottom. Do that again right here. Then we're going to trim these 2 little squares away, as well as this square right here, and then we'll just wedge this one out. And my little dog Sugar is in here. She has her toy, so if you hear any strange noises going on in the background, it's just Sugar playing with whatever she has over there. Right now she's chewing on her bone. Also, what you're going to want to do is right here you have that first little score line. So on these little tabs, you want to cut away a little bit of a wedge. It doesn't have to be very big, but these are going to get tucked to the inside of your box lid. So you want to make sure that you trim just enough away so that it's not going to make the top of the box misshapen or be too bulky. We'll go ahead and get this one put together. I'm going to put adhesive on these 4 tabs. Then these, well, let's make it easier. I'm going to flip that over, turn all these little tabs in, and then these right here on the outside that we just did some trimming on, I'm going to run some fuse along the edges of each of those. This will hold it down once it's turned into the inside of the box. First thing you'll do is attach all those little tabs and make your box lid. Then fold that right there at those score lines and get those turned to the inside. Then come in with the bone folder and just run that back and forth. It's going to make sure that your fast fuse is adhered, and it's going to sharpen your creases. So let's make sure that this fits together. And it does, and it's not going to be a super tight fit. It's going to be on there nice, but it's not going to be tight where it'll be difficult to pull off. I think these colors look really, really good together. So let's move on and start making our flowers. Now I'm going to be using the daisy punch for this, and I like to lay this punch down upside down on my table and use my hand to push down and punch those flowers out. Because it's a pretty good size punch, I just feel like I have better leverage when I do it this way. I'm going to punch out 4 of each of these flowers and do that with each of the 3 colors. So what I'm going to do with each of these flowers is I just have a small paintbrush here that I'm going to use anything that is round, and I would say this is probably a little less than 1/4 of an inch. Something around that size is going to be perfect. I'm going to wrap that around the handle of this little flower and then just roll each of those petals up just like that, and I'm going to do that on every single one of these flowers. I'm going to go ahead and get some other of my components cut out. I'm just using my Layering Circles Framelits dies, and this is the 3rd from the largest circle. I'm going to run that through with my Very Vanilla, get it cut out. Going to use my Old Olive, and I'm using my Pretty Pines Thinlits dies to add some greenery to my flower bouquet. And I'm going to just cut out as many as I can on this piece of paper, and I should be able to get at least 2 of each one. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to load this circle up with some of my fuse, because I'm going to be sticking some ribbon and the flowers and a lot of things to this. So I want plenty of fuse on there. Now I'm going to use my little piece of copper foil sheet and my 1/2 inch circle punch, and I'm going to punch out 3 of these. I'm just going to use glue dots, but you can definitely use liquid glue if you want to. And when you build your flower, just stack them so that you can see the petals from the flower beneath, between the petals of the flower that you're putting on top. And then finally, put your little copper foil sheet right in the center to make up the center of your flower. And then once you get your little bouquet built, you can fluff your flowers up a little bit. So I'm going to speed through and continue building my flowers, and then we'll start putting together the bouquet. Okay, so now that I've got my flowers all put together, I'm going to start attaching my ribbon. And I'm using powder pink, finely woven ribbon, as well as the fresh fig finely woven ribbon, some of the shimmery pear pizzazz, and then my copper. What is this one called? Let me take a look at it real quick because I have forgotten. This is called the copper trim. Okay. So for the little pieces that look like this, that are just kind of V-shaped, what I'm using here is my shimmer ribbon and my pear pizzazz, and I'm going to cut a piece here. Let me tell you how long this is. It is just over 5 inches. I'm going to use a mini glue dot and put it approximately in the center of the ribbon, fold that over into that little shape kind of a V, and push that down to hold it where I want it. Then for my powder pink as well as my fresh fig, I'm going to cut pieces that are about the same length, or between 5 and 6 inches. And the way that I get this shape, taking my glue dot, I'm going to put it right here close to the edge of my ribbon, and then I'm just going to fold that ribbon around, shaping it into a loop, which, let me show you how I'm doing this. I'm sure you probably already know how, but for any of you who are a beginner crafter and you're not sure how to make a loop, this one is for you. So I've got it laying flat. I'm going to take my ribbon around like this, and then I'm going to twist it so that it makes this loop in this shape. Let me show you that one more time. So cut me a piece that's about 5 inches long. Add the glue dot. Fold my ribbon over, and then I'm going to twist it back like this so that the underside is showing like that. On the pink one, I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to bring my ribbon over, but instead of twisting it like that, like I did on the first one, I'm just going to turn it at an angle and let my loop look like that. So let me show you this one again. And you can do these any way you choose. However you want to do yours is perfectly acceptable. So I'm going to hold that glue dot there, bring this over, and then twist my ribbon just a little bit so that I get another loop. So now I've got those ready. Let me show you how I did the copper trim. Now this copper trim you can work with and make it fan out if you want to. So what I did was I just grabbed it on either side and pulled it apart like that. Do that again. And I just went down through the ribbon or the trim doing this to get this shape right here. I think that it really adds a lot to this bouquet. It gives it some shimmer because this trim has a sheen to it, and it just gives it a nice different feel with the shape of these being like this. Now, in order to create the little loops that I have on the top, I'm just going to take a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to use my fast fuse, and I'm just going to put several strips of the fast fuse on top. Then take my copper trim. I'm going to start out by placing the end of the trim in a section of that fuse. Then I'm going to loop it up over my thumb and then stick it down again. Loop it over my thumb, stick it down again. And I'm going to do this probably about 4 times. Then when I get about 4 loops on there, I'm just going to snip off the end, and I'll be using that too. Now for this, I'm going to do it similarly to what I just showed you here, and I'm going to grab the top of those loops and just pull those apart like that. You can also fan it out further down if you want to make it a little bit fluffier. I think that's what I did on my first one actually. So just do yours however you like it to look. I'm going to go ahead and fan mine out down on the sides as well, to just give me a little bit fluffier look there. So now I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to add fuse to this as well. Just put several strips going across. Give yourself plenty of adhesive area to stick everything into. Whoopsie. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my fresh fig ribbon and I'm going to place those down and put them in kind of a triangular shape. Okay, then I'm going to use my old olive and put a couple of those down. Then take my powder pink, place a couple of these. Then I'm going to take my greenery and attach these pieces as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and get all my flowers put into place, and there's still adhesive here on this paper that I put my copper trim on, so I'm going to use that to help me get my flowers stuck down. That one doesn't really have enough on it right there, so I'm just going to use my glue dots. If I don't have enough adhesive, then I'll just put a glue dot down and use that instead of the adhesive that I have on that piece of paper there. And I want my flowers, I knocked the center out of that one. I want my flowers kind of standing up on their sides, kind of at an angle. I don't want them all laying down flat. And then as I'm looking at it, if I decide that any of my ribbons are a little bit too long, then I can just come in here and just trim those down. Alright, so here is a look at both of the boxes that I made for you today. I really like them both. I think that this one is perfect for anyone who has a fall time birthday, or maybe you just like these colors. Perfectly fine. And then this one I think is fantastic for any time of year at all. I think this would also be a fantastic one to take a bridal shower gift in, or even present a wedding day gift in. So I'm going to have links to all of the featured supplies that I used in this project in the description box that is below the video. But be sure to head over to my blog, because I will have a complete list of the supplies over there. And I've also prepared that printable instruction sheet for you. That's going to give you all the dimensions as well as directions for the project. So you're going to have lots of information to check out over on my blog, as well as more pictures. So thank you so much for stopping by today. I really do hope that you enjoyed the project, and if you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, that way you're not going to miss any of my future paper crafting tutorial videos. You may also want to subscribe to my Walla Stamping newsletter over on my blog as well. All of my subscribers get at least one exclusive tutorial each month, and I will make you aware of any upcoming new products that Stampin' Up! Is coming out with, as well as sales and specials from them and myself. So thank you so much for spending time with me today and for watching the video, and I will talk to you soon.